Resident Evil, invented in 1996 by Professor F and his sidekick Shinji. In his cliffside laboratory, Professor F cooked up the idea of fusing two previous video games he had worked on, Sweet Home and Commando, into a single experience. That basically came down to a survival horror game, but you also have a gun instead of like a vacuum or something. Having a gun really changes the experience of a supposedly horrifying situation. I mean, look at this. Pretty scary, right? Pretty spooky. Okay, how about now? Still a bit off-putting, but far from horrifying. It's for this reason that Luigi's Mansion is objectively scarier than Resident Evil. Anyway, this new game was originally conceived with the title Biohazard. This had to be changed for a Western release, as the band Biohazard didn't want their name associated with something enjoyable. So Professor F went with one of his subordinates' suggestions.
Resident Evil.
Oh, and just to be clear, I'm only talking about the Resident Evil games here, alright? Not the live-action movies that only exist to keep Mila Jovovich employed, not the expanded universe of novels, comic books, TV series is, and for sure not the animated movies, because they just... Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. They just speak for themselves. There are a few concepts that are core to the Resident Evil experience. Saving daughters, that's a big one. Whether it's saving the antagonist's daughter from experiencing the American criminal justice system, saving the president's daughter from Spanish people, finding Wesker's daughter, and then putting her out of her misery, saving bug daughters from existence, saving your daughter from a post-apocalyptic warlord. No, hold on, wait, no, that's not. Okay, saving your daughter from a pre-apocalyptic cult leader. There we go. On top of that, a deeply embedded theme is avoiding dealing with your issues. Let's say you're walking down a hall and a zomboid decides to stand in your way. This is a problem. This should probably be dealt with. But are you gonna deal with it? Fuck no, just pop it once in the face and keep it moving. Do this over and over for all of your problems that pop up. If you have the option to just ignore an issue, then take that option. Sure. Eventually, one of these problems will probably bite you in the neck when you're backtracking through a hallway and you forgot which of the problems are still out there shambling around. But you know what? That's something that future you is just going to have to deal with. The big obvious question about this series is, what do the words Resident Evil even mean? It's pretty simple. It means like a local evil. You know, just some corrupted entity who lives with you. Like if you were introducing your friend to your housemates. It's like, all right, this is Brandon, this is Adnan, and this is Sirgilunis the Fourth. He's the Resident Evil. We just call him Serg, though. So, who or what is the Resident Evil in Resident Evil? Is it the biotech paramilitary organization founded by billionaire eugenicists hell-bent on reaching post-capitalism with a monopoly over every industry known to man, creating an army of super soldiers and dominating global politics like some kind of Shinra endgame? No, of course not. The Resident Evil are the protagonists. I'll explain. Resident Evil follows the story of... Oh my god. Okay, Resident Evil follows a bunch of police officers and their poorly matched companions in their attempts to avoid their own issues and blame all the problems that they caused themselves on the morally upstanding Umbrella Corporation. In the very first Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corp makes a little oopsie-whoopsie fucky-wucky in their secret laboratory under an abandoned mansion in the mountains near Raccoon City. You know, it wasn't really a big deal. Umbrella was just trying to create the perfect human. You know, a very reasonable and ethical goal, and they were getting close. They had created a virus that, after infecting a person, made them very strong and very hungry and very technically alive. There were some problematic side effects, just a little bit of widespread catastrophic organ failure and basically zero brain activity. So they were still working out some kinks when said virus was accidentally released and started spreading through the laboratory workers, and then some wildlife started getting eaten. A couple of hikers went missing. You know what happens. You know, it could have been some hunters who got a little carried away. Who knows what actually caused all that? Anyway, Umbrella had things perfectly under control. But then Chris Redfield and like 4 of his co-workers show up and get rolling on some standard police business. No-knock warrantless entry, shooting dogs, unreserved use of military equipment, members of the force who are actually in the pocket of a different organization. You know, standard affair. And what happened because Chris and the Buys pulled up? The whole fucking city goes tits up. Because of the police destroying the mansion, the experimental virus gets into the fucking groundwater, and now Racon City has whole phalanxes of very hungry, very ugly, very kind of alive motherfuckers shambling around. That brings us to Resident Evil 2. Chris Redfield's looking out his window thinking, how can all this destruction and suffering benefit me? Due to a specific incident that took place at the mansion involving a giant spider and a shotgun, Chris had been rendered infertile, meaning he was no longer capable of continuing the Redfield bloodline, so he orchestrated a scenario in which his sister Claire would meet up with a new RPD recruit, Leon Kennedy, hoping that by going through a horribly traumatic experience together, they would develop a deep, loving bond. Chris then introduced the child of this respectable Umbrella employee to the mix to get the pair's parental hormones flowing. Chris put on a fat suit to disguise himself as the ex, so he could keep an eye on the situation and ensure that Leon would see what Claire's trying to get into, thus ensuring the continuation of said Redfield bloodline. What Chris didn't expect was for Leon to be one of the many Capcom protagonists who literally does not know what sex is. So, all this effort and trauma was literally for nothing. Thanks, Chris. At the same time all that was happening, Resident Evil 3 also happened. It's just Jill's misadventures through Racon City while Umbrella desperately tries to clean up the mess that, I would like to remind you, they technically did not cause. Unfortunately, there was a little mix-up at HQ. Umbrella ended up deploying both the standard cleanup crew and the ACAB-programmed bioorganic weapon hellbent on killing every cop that was present during the mansion incident, but it was fine. Everything turned out fine in the end. By the time the whole ordeal was over, it was like nothing had happened in Racon City. I mean that for real, for real. It was like nothing had happened in Racon City literally ever in history. That place got fucking wiped off the map. Holy shit. Resident Evil 4 represented a change in the series. Now, instead of taking place in some random American city no one has ever heard of, and nothing bad has ever happened in, and the Umbrella Corporation is 100% trustworthy, the game now takes place in the only nation outside of America, according to Embedded Repose, Spain. Because of this, they had to rebrand, as the evil is no longer just residential, it is now international. So, in International Evil 4, you get to live out the American fantasy of screwing with a foreign community and saving the president's daughter. And if you want to take your power fantasy to the next level, you can do so with Surfshark. Sure, International Evil 4 does a well enough job of simulating Spain, but you can take it a step further with just a click of a button. Boom! Now it's not just Leon running around rural Spain, you're basically there too. Or at least that's what anyone trying to keep tabs on you will think. With Surfshark masking your IP and encrypting your data, you can stop Chris Redfield from hunting you down at your exact location, access any of your personal data, or send you personalized ads asking you to help continue the Redfield bloodline. With just one subscription, you can run Surfshark on an unlimited number of devices. I'm currently running it on my PC, laptop, phone, watch, smart fridge, PS4, GameCube, Telegraph, and this thing that I stole from Heisenberg's factory. If you've ever wanted to access Canadian Netflix, then Surfshark can get you there as well. And I mean, shit. Who wouldn't? We got Resident Evil Retribution exclusively. Maybe. I don't know. I just made that up. I'm sure we got something, though. Click the link in the description and use code MIFO to get 83% off your Surfshark subscription. Wow, that's a lot of percent. And get an extra 3 months absolutely free. And big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. For International Evil 5 to 7, I don't really have much to say. The Umbrella Corporation isn't even around anymore, but all this fuck shit is still going on, and you know who is around, though? Chris and his friends. Really makes you think. 5 involves the centipedes from Sekiro, Wesker becoming a triple agent, or maybe a quadruple agent. Didn't he do some shit at the end of International Evil 4? I don't know. And Chris finally having a showdown with his greatest rival, this big-ass rock. 6 does not exist. Hey, that kind of rhymed. 7 was just a Louisiana simulator. Nothing to do with Umbrella on this one either. Don't worry about it. Actually, you know what? After Umbrella folded, Chris leads a new organization called Blue Umbrella, smearing the good name of Umbrella by co-opting their logo and then doing a bunch of fuck shit under its name, such as existing in International Evil 6. Thanks, Chris. International Evil 8, however, follows the story of Ethan Winters as he goes up against an ancient folk witch and her cronies, and also Chris and his cronies after he murders Ethan's wife. Thanks, Chris. While Umbrella is not directly involved in this entry, the Bird Witch actually was a very important figure in the formation of the Umbrella Corp, and as such, must be a paragon of morality. You might be thinking, well, clearly here Ethan can't be the bad guy. I mean, he's just a dude looking for his daughter after the word bitch over here fucking and then for safekeeping, which which most people would frown upon on its own, but additionally, she planned on using some but this time with effectively erasing and okay, you got me. My hands are up. Fair enough. That all sounds bad. But have you considered that Mother Miranda and her underlings are attractive? Think about it. How can they be evil, immoral people if you want to have sex with them? Oh, except Moreau. That guy's the Resident Evil of Miranda's goof troop. So in the end, I think it's clear to see that the Umbrella Corporation is without fault through this entire series. Everyone there works within the bounds of reasonable ethical protocol. The outcomes of their work have been nothing but positive. I mean, the Umbrella Corp was a huge inspiration for me to study biotech in university, with the dream of eventually building my own mindless army. Instead, I ended up a YouTuber, which, I mean, if you have a big enough audience, it's basically the same thing. If you got a 7-digit subscriber count, you basically just have a directable army of locusts at your disposal. Anyway, I spent the past little while streaming myself being bad at Resident Evil over here. So, yeah. And now a word from some of my patrons. Dylan. I know everyone is going to comment on the big titty mommy milker vampire lady, so I'll hold back my Kuma rant. This game has single-handedly made me want to buy and play all the Resident Evil games, so fuck this game. Fish in a barrel. Resident Evil over Fallout. Reject modernity. Embrace tradition. Nagarak. Reject hoes. Lift more weights. Nerd juice. I don't know why, but I really want a sandwich now. Not sure what kind. Somebody recommend one. The joke store. Fuck. Every time I try to get a girlfriend, I either get rejected, friend-zoned, or they turn out to be a lesbian. I'm so fucking pissed. What the hell is wrong with me? Walrus. I heard you were talking about Danganronpa. You actually like that show? It's trash. That was a lie. Nihihi. I actually... What the fuck does this say? I actually kin Kokichi. Who do you kin? Nagito?